Let's watch.
The Supreme Court's judgment.
From what you are reading, from what the other people who are also obviously for reason that I know as a politician, entertaining themselves, making themselves happy, giving themselves hope, which is normal in politics. Most of the things we have read were written by them.
Sorry?
And most of the things we have read were written by them. And I heard that fellow that came yesterday that you mentioned his name. I don't want to dignify him, because the moment he mentioned that he's a PA to Kabiru Tanimo Turaki, I just wave him aside, because if you are a PA to someone who, as a senior advocate of Nigeria, choose to be sleeping with his friend's wife, and at the end of the day, he also went ahead to now lie against the friend to the police. He wrote petition to the police lying against the friend. Police investigated his petition and they found out that he lied. That's the reason he was charged to court now for misleading the police. So if a man could descend to the level of sleeping with his wife's friends, I don't want to just join his with that kind of character in my. And if somebody could be his PA, you see in my place they say that is so on the issue of PDP. Let me go straight, and let me start from the appeal court judgment, because what went to Supreme Court was the appeal court judgment. And in the appeal court judgment, I have asked people, because what they have been talking about is, the National Secretary Samayaun was suspended, appeal court affirmed his suspension, then Supreme Court also affirmed his suspension. They even went ahead to say that Supreme Court even nullified the March 29-30 convention of the PDP. This is the appeal court judgment. And I'm going to just mention this portion. In the appeal court judgment, there was no mention of Samayaun in the appeal court judgment. His name was not mentioned. What happened was that there was issue on the person that should represent PDP as a lawyer. And the National Legal Advisor, Majibade, SAN, went to court to say that as the National Legal Advisor, I'm constitutionally empowered to file appeal and represent the PDP. The other person brought Chris Uche. And they said, and the appeal court in its own wisdom said, okay, we have looked at the evidence before us. We agree that the National Legal Advisor is constitutionally empowered to represent the party. But as at the time of this case, you, Ajibade, you were suspended by the National Working Committee of the party. That is the area. And in law, they call this orbital dictum. That is when judges make statements in the process of reading judgment. Now, let us now look at, I don't want to go into either legality or illegality of the suspension. I want to agree, though not conceding, that, okay, Ajibade was suspended. The NWC suspended Ajibade and others on November 1, 2025. And they were suspended for a period of 30 days. 30 days from November 1 will be November 30. So, by a function of time, if a staff of Arise TV now was suspended for a month from today, that staff does not need a letter from Arise to resume. The moment the 1 month end, Abi.
Well, it depends on what the tone of the letter is. If they say the moment it ends, resume.
Once the tone of the letter say that you are suspended between January 1 and January 30, by January 31, you resume work. Abi, that was the tone of that suspension. Suspended for 1 month from November 1 rather.
To 30.
To 30. So let's assume that the suspension was correct. The suspension will end November 30, and they will start their work.
Beautiful. When you discussed the question of appeal, I was actually smiling because I don't know whether you watched that interview. I had discussed with John Gudo, and we discussed this at length. But we're not discussing the highest court.
I'm
in the
coming.
land,
That
the
is
apex court.
that is the premise I'm laying, because there cannot be any matter at the apex court except matter that originated from the appeal court, right?
Yeah, but the
Because
apex
it was
court.
what happened at the appeal court that that litigant took to apex court.
Good.
And the appeal court said that, oh, we agree because you have been suspended. I have established here that in the judgment of the Court of Appeal, there was no mention of the name of Samayang.
But in the apex court judgment,
If there was no mention of his name in the appeal court judgment, so how would his name now surface in this apex court? His name was not also mentioned
in the apex court.
Yes.
Well, unless you're telling me that the CDC I'm reading is not from the Supreme Court, I saw it with my two eyes.
I said, whatever you have seen, read it and let me see. I said, this is the foundation.
What apex court, the CTC that I read delivered is that Anyanwu, Bature, somebody else, I think 4 others, were suspended or expelled from the. Hold on. Were expelled or suspended from the party. Therefore, the convention held on March 29 by the Wike faction of by the Wike-led faction of the PDP is null and void on that basis. In that same judgment, the Ibadan Convention was also nullified.
No. Let me read the judgment to you. This is it. This is the judgment of the appeal court read by.
I don't know why you keep going back to the appeal court.
I'm coming about the judgment of the Supreme Court now by Justice Nwosu Eheme. Supreme Court. And let me read from this paragraph. Wait.
Okay, what did Anyanwu cross appeal at the Supreme Court?
I'm coming. They did not stop there because the court was saying, okay, they did not stop. They shamelessly, abrasively, desperately embark on forum shopping. The party confession of the first appellant, PDP, in the appeal, which held on the 15th and 16th of November, is a typical example. Not only did they flagrantly disobey the order of the Federal High Court in suit number FHA, whatever.
I read all that.
They proceeded to taunt the court by going to the High Court.
Okay, because of time.
There is now. Let me read this. It's very important.
Okay.
It is very. Okay. This is nothing but madness.
Good.
Gross irresponsibility. Quite contemptuous and clearly making a mockery of a very serious business.
Okay.
I condemn it in very strong terms. The said convention, which is a product of this madness and irresponsibility, is accordingly declared null and void.
That is the 15th,
and of no effect.
Convention,
all decisions arrived at by this full-blown madness are hereby set aside.
That is the Ibadan Convention, right?
Now read for me where Supreme Court said March 29 convention was invalid. I want you to read it.
I can't begin to read it.
You said you have seen it.
But I've read it. Yes, I've seen it and I've read it. What I'm even asking is, what did Anyanwu cross appeal?
You see, I have read to you what the appeal court said.
No, what did Anyanwu?
It was this statement of the appeal court that okay. Ajibade cross appeal, not Anyanwu.
You see, the point I'm making here, or what I'm trying to bring out here is, why are we even discussing appeal court when the apex court, Supreme Court, has delivered a judgment already?
Listen, you are getting this wrong. And also, don't let us be part of misinformation of the public. I have told you that I had to lay premise by reading what the appeal court said. It was what the appeal court said that was appealed against at the Supreme Court.
Now you read this portion. Did you also read the portion where the apex court?
I'm coming.
Hold on.
You told me.
Just give me a second.
I'll give you a second. You told me that you read the judgment of the Supreme Court.
I did.
You said the judgment you read where it nullified
both these conventions.
I want you to read what you read.
Because I've read it and I'm telling you, I can't begin to read it again.
What may I saw?
So are we reading two different Supreme Court judgments?
I'm telling you, the only thing Supreme Court said, let me tell you. The only thing Supreme Court said about the cross appeal.
Yeah.
Supreme Court said the matter has become academic.
Dismissed. They said the cross appeal is dismissed.
A matter has become academic and strike out
It dismissed it.
Cross appeal. And when you strike out a cross appeal and you say the matters, it is just like...
Okay, address this issue. Did the Apex Court cancel both conventions?
No.
The one in November held by PDP and the one of Wike held here in Abuja on March 29,
it is a lie.
Saying that the premise why they did that was that there was not even any need to conduct any convention because these parties were suspended.
Because the issue of May 29 convention was not before the Supreme Court. You see, the court is not a Father Christmas, my brother. There was no contention. What you did not take to court will not begin to talk about it.
All right, Lere, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much.
Then again, please, before you thank me so much, I want to say this before I leave. I know the person in Ibadan who is pushing people, bringing out this. And I want to tell the public, what he's doing amounts to what people in my place will call political graduate, political 419. Because listen, those his people that he has adopted are buying forms in other parties.
We work with time.
His people that he adopted for election are buying forms in other parties. They are not buying in PDP. Why are they in Ibadan not buying in PDP?
Thank you
Why
so
are
much.
they buying forms in APN?
Thank you so much for being on the